Dumelang beloved, welcome to our YouTube channel. If you are returning, if you are a subscriber, thank you so much. And if you are new here, well, welcome to your new internet home. It's been forever, but I am back and we are continuing with that series of description words. And today we are tackling one. So allow me to introduce myself. Hi, I am Omolemo Monchwe and I am fat.
But still like dust. All right.
I think with every glamorous photograph of a plus-size model, there should be a health warning.
You'd have a far better career in the short and long term if you put down the four.
The glorification of obesity within advertisements is not just a normalization. This is not healthy. It is not helping anybody. The end result of this is that you are shortening people's life and making them live lower quality lives than they would otherwise.
And do you consider yourself healthy? Because of course the argument is, if you are carrying extra pounds, it puts more pressure on you and on your body. Do you feel like you're in full health?
Fat shaming is a good thing, right? I think that when people say to me, you put on a bit of timber, mate, it makes me go back and try and lose a bit of timber.
You're clinically obese and you should lose weight. That is the right thing to do. It is a good thing to feel shame. Calling it fat shaming means nothing to me, right? When you feel ashamed, you change your circumstances and you change yourself. When you feel no shame, there is no desire to make any change. Fat people shouldn't even be allowed to fly, I guess, which is why I want to encourage you to get thinner.
So fat is defined as a person or an animal that has a large amount of excess flesh. So that's me. I am not your typical frame. I am not your typical I am quite big and I do have excess fat, excess flesh. So why is fat such a bad term? Why is it received with so much negativity? This is a question that you as an individual, a fat individual, or just an individual that's trying to figure out life, or that's just trying to heal, you need to actually figure out the answer to this question so that you can get to a point where you see fat as just what it is, a word, right? So like I said in the previous video, and I will repeat it again, words trigger us. They trigger emotion out of us and they trigger memory out of us. Memory either of ourselves in our lives, or memory of things that we've heard or things that we've been taught to understand. So when you hear the word fat, it comes with the demeaning context, that it has been given over the years. It insults people that are in larger bodies. Very negative connotation that speaks to a person's worth. And it kind of says to the next person that they can judge a person's worth, a person's attractiveness, a person's literally character, even from just hearing this word. So it has a negative connotation and it has been associated with prejudice in the past. So this is why it stings. So it stings because of these two reasons. First, memory of the past, not necessarily your own experience, and memory of your own experience, because at some point you had to experience being called fat and getting to find out that it has connotations and it is a word that is used as a weapon. It is weaponized against you as an individual. So that is why the word fat feels and looks so bad, not only to a fat individual, but to society at large. That's why they cringe when they hear it. That's why they cringe, some of them, when they say it. And that's why you cringe when you receive it, and that's why I used to cringe when I received it at some point, right? So So we are going to go into this topic quite blindly. There is no real strategy, but I'll be speaking about my experience, and I'll be speaking about how I learned to decipher this word and just take it as a word and not necessarily as the connotations it comes with, you know. So let me start here. I categorize plus size people, fat people, into two categories. To me, there are two types. There are people that grew up fat, myself included, people that have been fat throughout their lives, and there are people that got the body weight as they grew older, either due to metabolism, due to health reasons, whatever the reason. But today I want to take a slight focus on what it feels like to grow up fat, actually, and talk about it, and just go into it. So, you know, this term called bullying. Everyone speaks about bullying on such a grand scale. Literally in South Africa, there is a Miss South Africa finalist, top 12, that might be disqualified from being a top 12 finalist because there are people that went on social media that said that they used to be bullied by this girl in high school. And someone might think, oh my gosh, that was years ago. But the reality is bullying and its side effects literally follow you for the rest of your life. So it is detrimental, all right? So guess what? Being fat, you get bullied by society in its entirety. You get bullied for existing. Be it a snark comment when you're playing in the street by other children, be it a comment in the classroom when you are with your fellow pupils, or be it literally in the family. The little remark that your aunt asks your mom, that actually sticks with you, and that causes serious issues in terms of how you view yourself, one, and the relationship you have with people, two, three, the relationship you have with food, because it almost feels like being fat is literally just according to what you eat, which is not necessarily the case. Personally, all right, I have had these side effects. I don't know about you. If you are a fat girl that grew up fat, please do comment. Oh boy, please do comment the side effects that you found yourself struggling with in adulthood. But for me, these were the top three that I could identify. One, not having a good relationship with food. Two, not necessarily being able to trust people's intentions towards me. This is less to do with my being fat and just my life experiences, but I have always attributed everything that has happened to me, no matter how vile, to the fact that I was fat. So someone takes advantage of me sexually, I say it's because I make them feel like they could because I am of a certain body type, which is an idea that was engraved in my mind because I saw and understood that being fat was a defect, you know? So one, very, very bad relationship with food. Two, and now you, just to show you how fat phobic you are sitting there thinking, uya gimbalo, oja 24/7, and that's not true. Inspect yourself. Two, the relationships I have with people, and three, I would say that the relationship I have with myself, self-image, you know. It took a lot for me to work through these issues, but the number one, child, I'm still working through it till today. So what happens if you don't deal with these things is that you grow up and you take them as a part of your identity, and you then get triggered whenever an experience happens, one, or when someone calls you fat. Now it's like helicopters must come down, the president must be called, call the police force, you know, just because someone called you fat. And that's because you refused or you did not allow yourself to deal with the connotations that come with it, right? So let me just speak about this food issue that I have, you know. So having heard over the years till today, what am I saying? Even now, having heard that if food is the reason why you are fat, you then have this very bad relationship with food. You feel guilty for eating, even if it's a meal that you deserve. For instance, you are about to have a normal meal, you feel very guilty and you can't enjoy leisure foods because they are leisure foods in times of leisure. So you are constantly questioning your decisions in terms of food. I literally got it's not funny. I literally got hospitalized not so long ago because of this issue. And I had gotten to a point where I triggered myself to get ulcers. And they were like, when they tested everything, they're like, dude, you are hungry. Your urine shows us that. And I'm like, oh well. The only reason, and when I could attribute what was happening, is because I just felt like I did not deserve a meal that day. And that's because I did not feel a certain way. So these are the things that really come with the effects of a lifetime of bullying. 1, 2, a lifetime of shame. 3, a lifetime of just being fed false, and I mean it. I'm gonna add a text here that says false information about your body and how it works, you know. So yeah, that is what is up. Okay, so we have already spoken about the mental health of someone that is growing up fat. So let's speak about what happens when you are a fat girl, all right, that decides to lose weight, but you're still a fat girl in mind. So in other words, you have not overcome the impact and the really, really bad wounds. You have not healed them. What happens is you just become a fat girl in a skinny body that goes around fat shaming other girls and telling them, other people, that goes around telling them, and you just don't fix your relationship with food and you don't understand food for what it is. So I have this friend. He used to be quite big, right? And he lost weight beautifully. The transition is beautiful. But he has an eating disorder. He has an eating disorder, and I usually just look at him and think, I'm really glad that you lost the weight, but I really wish the channel and the direction was different, you know, because now you have an eating disorder. 1, 2, you don't even like yourself, and that's because the body was not the issue. The hurt and the pain that was done before the weight loss still stands, and people think, okay, if I lose the weight, then I'll be okay. For those that can lose the weight rapidly, that don't have underlying illnesses that kind of help them keep the weight on, you know. So motivation, please fix yourself emotionally, psychologically. Allow yourself to go through the journey of self-healing, healing the wounds, healing the pain, healing the trauma that comes with a lifetime of bullying, because that is what it is. That is exactly what it is. Yeah. And if you can do that, then you can truly walk through life and accept a guy that lives in the street as you walk by saying, me, and you won't get offended, because you will know that the point in which they are coming from is not a stance of the connotations that you know from being fat or just the word fat. So yeah, I want to go into the last part of this video, which is not about the long-term consequences of fat shaming, which obviously leads to PTSD and all of those nice things that no one wants. So I just want to go into identity, right? I want to go into identity and I want to go into the truth, right? One thing I love, and that's why I can take the word fat with my chest, because it's just true. If you're not coming to me with disrespect and you say yo umukimayang, it's true. I won't take it as anything else other than what it is, the truth. So let's talk identity. Let's talk about how you identify as a fat girl, a fat boy, right? Do you identify with the connotations? Do you identify with the word as a description word? What exactly do you identify as? And if you do identify with fatness as everything in its form and in its entirety, if you are someone that would say that, oh my gosh, I am a fatness ambassador, I don't know if ambassador, someone that if you are one of those people, then I would want to know from which stance are you being an ambassador, all right? Is it from fat people deserve to live through life without feeling like they're not worthy of it? Or is it from a stance of do nothing, love yourself? Loving yourself includes taking care of yourself and knowing when enough is enough, knowing when your body can't handle your weight anymore, knowing that physical health is not only to get you skinny, but is to get you living a good life that can allow you to run around with your kids and that can allow you to do everyday chores without feeling exhausted, so there is a call for health and taking care of yourself, not just for fat people. And I think the one thing that I'm really against is when people try to make it seem like a call for health is just for the fat, or a call for diabetes awareness, or a call for high blood awareness is just for fat people. Well, else that's not the case, and that has never been the case. Matter of fact, that will never be the case. We are all prone to these things, but yes, there is a higher risk in people that struggle with obesity, which is what I am and what you as a fellow fat person is, So the call really, or the conversation will and is it will always be and is, are you taking care of yourself? I know I'm not doing a great job at the moment. I could definitely do better. But if then you are not taking care of yourself, and you are not aware of yourself, then there is a deeper question of where are you mentally? Are you okay? There are so many things to explore. So I just wanted to say that before I get to say to the fact that identity is so multifaceted, identity is so complex. It moves from individual to individual. My identity rests on something totally different, right? I'm going to speak about it probably 3 weeks later. But if your identity rests solely on the fact that you are fat, then it's a mental struggle of you not trying to fix or get better, right? There's nothing to fix. Just make sure that you are healthy. There is a mental struggle against that. And there'll forever be a mental struggle in terms of receiving criticism, constructive criticism about lifestyle, So this brings me to this. If you are a fat boy, a fat girl, a fat person overall, I hope that this is not an identifier for you. I hope that this is not a part of your identity, but it is just a way to describe what you look like. And if it is not a part of your identity, you won't carry the scars on your shoulder pads. You will work on healing them. You will work on truly becoming detaching from the hurt of the experience, from the pain of the experience, and just from the lies of the experience. I tried my best to make this a 10-minute video. Wow, how are we here? But anyway, this has brought me to the end of our video, and that was my first description word, which was fat. Next week we'll be speaking about how it feels like to be black, and I feel like that would definitely speak to a lot of people. And now you already know that we are speaking about description words and not necessarily identifiers or ways in which we identify. And I don't know if I'm using the right word when I say this, but when you carry this word as your full-on identity, you know. But like I said, I'm going to far at the end of this series what I identify, not probably at the middle of this series, because but what my identity relies on, and how we should actually deconstruct the way that we think about ourselves. If you have any questions, if you have any of those things like, oh, I need a part 2, please leave it in the description. Did I say description? In the comment box below. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to share. Otherwise, thank you so much, and don't you ever forget that you are gold, baby. Have yourself a wonderful day, and I love you. Don't forget, this Friday is movie night with me on my YouTube channel. You are going to watch my short film, okay? And you are going to comment about my short film. It's technically it's flawed, but it's nice. Fix your popcorn, fix your coffee, fix your juice, fix your wine, whatever it is thy needeth, you know. Otherwise, I love you. You are gold, and see you on the flip side.